Welcome to the Dim Forest, this week's challenge. Let's get straight into it, shall we? Getting burnt, another camp for you to loot, escape through the gate. Okay, now Merle is our star hero. I think I know this mission. I'm going to use the porcelain pulverizer for him. Is he a good hero? Well, not really. Those flat boosts to your attack level, they don't count for much when you get to much higher difficulty settings. So he's not a great hero. I think the character model is absolutely fantastic. Really looks like Michael Rooker. But he's not a top tier hero by any stretch of the imagination. Now, I've got to complete missions with a bruiser. Got to complete them with Princess as well. So I'm bringing this little team. Not saying this is an absolutely amazing team setup. It's not. It's just that we are early in the game. I want to get those points. Oof. And this is a tricky one. Now, what I might suggest is that you do what I'm doing here, which is you keep somebody back to snipe the enemies at the top. They can always rush forward and join you. You've got a threat counter. Now, that kind of becomes a bit of a problem. Oops, I've moved Merle into a position where I can't see anything. Good job, somebody came and just joined us anyway. Okay, it's about time for him to sort of come down, join the rest of the team. We've got a lot of things here. There's that blind corner there on the left of the screen. Really causes some problems. Let's do this, make sure that we're getting the maximum number of hits. Something that can help is having something like a character with Herd. So T-Dog is armed with the Riot Shield, and herding is something that can do. At some point you've got to bite the bullet, and you've got to actually poke your head around and see what's there. Have weapons available that can stun the enemy. You know, herding, of course, as mentioned before, great option. You could always keep somebody up the top here on the other side of the fence, just so you can keep an eye on where all the walkers are. Everybody doesn't have to come around and you know, go through the door here. Somebody could just stay on the other side of the fence. And this is a mission where there's a lot of different ways of doing it. There's a lot of different strategies. Some missions like fish in a barrel. Well, you got to have the right gear, the right people, basically. With this, you've got a couple of things that you can try. I definitely recommend posting a sniper outside the gate and having them just popping away at the walkers as they mill around. Especially if you've got something with a large blast area. Maybe Mercer with a decimator, good choice. Maybe the burnout rifle or something with infinite range is a good choice. And that way you can distract and you can attack the walkers. So if you're really struggling with this, that is an option. Definitely move slow. When you get to that bend, that corner at the bottom left of the map, chances the walkers are just going to jump out and attack you is pretty high. So have somebody who's ready there who can stun them, interrupt on your weapons is a good trait to have so that you stop them dead in their tracks. Anything like that. Loot the camp and get the hell out of there. Okay, we're going to keep with the same team. Again, this is not a team that it's not an amazing combo or anything. This is just so that I get the benefits of the daily challenge. Something that I'm really keen to use, something that has been recommended, is Fighter Rosita with the Lucerne hammer, however that's pronounced. I have been loading that up, leveling that up. I want to re-roll her traits. I'm short on re-roll tokens at the moment, but we'll get there. So we've got another mission with a threat counter. Now I'm making an absolute ton of noise. But if you really start struggling as the difficulty goes up, that's always something to consider. How much noise are y'all making? Because the fewer walkers you have to worry about, the easier it is, obviously. Weapons like the hunter's bow, great shooter weapon, that reduces threat. I've not used it personally for a long time, but it's definitely an option. Things like the sawtooth blade that I have for my scouts, that reduces threat as well. Obviously melee characters don't up the threat. And this one's a bit of a tricky one. You got to get in there and you got to get out. I like this mission. I think that's exactly something that the characters would do. They would go into a camp, they would infiltrate, search around, exfiltrate. I think that's two very good missions that we've had so far. I think this could be a really good set. Let's see what's next. Lovely. And of course you want to get at least 610 stars on the weekly challenge so that you've got the maximum number of seasonal event tokens that you can get from that weekly challenge. You also have to complete the distance twice with the distance booster on and do pretty much all of your daily challenges, and you will have more than enough seasonal tokens to get everything. Lost bunker, get to the bunker, watch out for the traps. People are always asking, hey, where do I get the best gear? Do I have to spend money on this? The seasonal events are a great way to get some fantastic gear. Now, on these missions, if we go over these, we wake up some nasty things. At this difficulty, I'm just biting the bullet on that. I'm going for making some distance, even if it does mean that we are drawing attention to ourselves by increasing the threat counter, even if it does mean we are waking up a tank. So yes, those are tanks which are hiding in those tiny little holes under the ground somehow. And again, this is an example of another mission where you've got a couple of options. You can go for the speedy but tough route by doing this kind of thing, or you can take your time. It really depends on whether your guys are geared out to take out a tank in one turn, because they've got to be able to do that. You're going to wake one up as you go over those holes, and then of course, if you haven't got some way to negate it, he's going to attack you. The other alternative for this mission is to take the long route round. Problem is, you've got a threat counter. You've got lots of marauding walkers. So a theme, I think, so far for this set of missions is, how quiet can you be? Definitely when it gets to the very, very tough stages, being able to reduce that threat is going to give you a lot more options. Give you a lot fewer walkers to run into. Alternatively, you just power through, literally all guns blazing, and see how that works out for you. So far, so good though. I mean, that's 3 great missions. Okay, we don't need to bring a bruiser along anymore. Take down both of the tough walkers. Yumiko. And just because... How does he use it? How does Merle use a bow? Looks like we got some reroll tokens. That's handy. I need more of those. Yep. Oh, yeah. Tricky mission, this one. Or at least it can be. This is one of the ones where, given the choice, I would probably recommend powering through. It depends a little bit on your luck. You got to get these 2 big guys. Now there you go. Not a problem at all on a low difficulty. Boy oh boy does it start to get tricky. Being able to ignite those big guys is very, very handy. Sure, it takes several turns, but at least Every turn you know that their hit points are ticking down as they burn. So if you've got incendiary weapons, that's absolutely fantastic. I really think that this is one of those ones where your ranged characters are probably more effective than melee characters. I have preference for ranged characters anyway, but sometimes there really are instances where you want to be able to deal damage from a distance to get the mission done. Search the debris of the derailed train. Beware of the burning walkers. Do we keep this? Yeah, I think we keep trolling Merle by giving him the bow. Okay, yeah, so this one, it's a searchy... Oh. Misclick. Having shooters is pretty handy because, of course, they can move so fast. Having a character like Glenn on your team could also be useful. You could search both of those and then be ready to move on to the right side of the map. Looks like we've got a threat counter. Why? Yeah, let's cause a little bit more damage. We've got burning walkers, so that's a consideration. If you have melee characters and they attack a target which is on fire, they hurt themselves, which kind of sucks. Hey, Io. So this might be another one where really you're just thinking about using ranged characters. There is a threat counter though. So again, got to be considerate of that. Either, maybe take a team that can just get all of the searching done before the threat counter hits 0. Have weapons that will reduce the threat counter. That's an option as well. You could have Glenn leading the team, I suppose, with a couple of shooters. That will give you maximum coverage of the map. You could just search those containers, just get the heck out of there. Maybe even not encountering the walkers at all. Maybe even get crazy, bring Beta or somebody along who can just sneak past them. You don't always have to engage the walkers. It's always worth remembering. Okay, so this is just a great set of missions. They're challenging. There's multiple ways of tackling these missions. Different strategies that you can use. And that is it's just brill. Search around the cabin for the loot. Tell you what, I'm going to keep on talking about him. Let's bring Glenn. Yes, we'll bring that. Merle, should we give you a proper weapon instead of just trolling you? Go on, you go back to having a porcelain pulverizer. Okay, lots and lots and lots of stuff here. So yeah, bringing a weapon that can that has an area effect was probably a good idea. Let's retreat a little bit. Obviously, Glenn, I'm using the wonderful Sawtooth Blade. It means that he gets an extra action point after he makes a kill. Naturally, he gets an action point after he searches. Yeah. And I think he could be a good choice for more than one mission here as well. So do not neglect the Glen. If you're struggling, there's quite a few sort of searchy missions here. He is the scavenger. Just like he was in the show, he is the greatest scavenger that you can use. Hey, Io. Yeah, wow. Really, really good, fun set of missions here in the dim forest. And isn't it just great to get out and get some fresh air every now and again? Lots and lots of options, lots of tactics that you can use on these maps. If you do struggle, then please do let me know, and either I or somebody else from the community, I'm sure, can help you. If I get towards the end, I'll put up some much higher difficulty takes on the missions if I get to the end, if I have the time to do that. But in the meantime, now you know what is in front of you, and hopefully you can prosper. As ever, thank you for watching.